racecourse on Ascot Heath was laid out by order of Queen Anne in 1711. And Royal Ascot, as the famous summer meeting there is always called, has long been a highlight of the English season. The royal drive along the course is naturally a big feature of this unique occasion, and today the assembled racegoers acclaim the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh. Gentlemen of fashion, of course, are never to be seen here without the grey topper. As for ladies of fashion, well, Royal Ascot is perhaps the finest dress parade the season has to offer. To see what she is wearing, and no doubt to let her see what's being worn, that's all part of the enjoyment of the occasion. One thing about Ascot is certain, it has an elegance all its own. As with their escorts, so with the ladies, the accents on hats, it is, of course, possible to overdo it. Her Majesty's love of racing is well known, and she obviously enjoys going along to the paddock to have a word with the jockey, perhaps, and to look over the runners for the big race. In the paddock, the thoroughbreds parade like the aristocrats they are, and they're certainly worth watching if you have an eye for beauty, whether one has an eye for a winner or not. Well, that's the Ascot scene, and what a brilliantly attractive scene it is, given anything like good weather. And, oh yes, there's racing too, of course. Windsor Castle provides the magnificent setting for the ceremony of the Garter. The most noble order of the Garter is the oldest and most illustrious order of knighthood in existence. Its origins are uncertain, but it is known to date at least from the middle of the 14th century. Here, officers and knights of the Garter, clad in all the richness of historic robes, walk in solemn and dignified procession from the castle. The highlight of this occasion was the installation of Sir Winston Churchill. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, a lady of the order, was present. Her Majesty the Queen, sovereign of the order, walks with her husband, His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh. A picture that faithfully records the enduring tradition of chivalry and the magnificence of royal pageantry. A picture, too, of the great man whom the Queen delights to honor, Sir Winston Churchill, indomitable war leader, Prime Minister of Britain, a man whose worldwide fame rests upon countless achievements in a lifetime of service to the crown. Ancient and historic St. George's Chapel is the chapel of the Order of the Garter. It's here that newly created knights are ceremoniously installed. The procession, now approaching, presents a scene that few people have had the chance to witness. Ceremony in St. George's over, one of the most distinguished and accomplished of men takes his place in the list of famous people thus honored through the centuries. The final scene, the royal departure, epitomizes the dignity and splendor of the most noble order of the Garter. The Principality of Wales, whose separate identity in the United Kingdom has survived the march of time, possesses a grandeur of scenery very much in keeping with its epic history. The character of the Welsh people is reflected in the Celtic language, in their national love of music, and in the beauty of their mountains and streams. It is to Wales that kindred spirits are drawn from all over the world to attend or take part in the International Musical Eisteddferd. From far distant Malaya even, and of course from almost every country in Europe, visitors and competitors bring with them all the colour and tradition of their national costumes. But music is the thing. As only one example, here's a famous Italian choir from Bologna. Now to the banks of Scotland's Loch Lomond, famous in song and story. Scotland can boast of scenic beauty second to none. Here, beauty of another kind is exemplified by that masterpiece of engineering, the world-famous Firth of Forth Bridge. 360 feet high and over 5,000 feet long, it has been described as the most impressive bridge in existence. Certainly, only the grand sweep of Cinemascope can do justice to its massive proportions. Edinburgh, Scotland's capital, possesses what surely must be one of the most magnificent thoroughfares in the world, the famous Princes Street. Not far away, the royal residence of Holyrood House stands on the site of an abbey founded by David I in 1128. Within its walls are the echoes of centuries of Scottish history. From the proud heights of Edinburgh Castle, all Edinburgh and miles of the surrounding country can be seen. A superbly commanding position. The castle plays its part too in that great annual event, the Edinburgh Festival. It was from here, for instance, that the Anglo-American vintage car rally started. Strange that such venerable vehicles should strike such a modern note, but of course parts of the castle go back to the 12th century, whereas the cars merely date from 50 years ago at most. These vintage cars have obviously been the object of tender care. It's all right, Chum, the engine's still there. They were sent off by the Lord Provost himself. The journey was a matter of some 800 miles by a roundabout route to Goodwood in the south of England. Never before had cars so old been called upon to travel so far, but almost every one of them got there. Highlight of the festival, the tattoo receives a fine send-off with the music of the mounted band of the Royal Horse Guards. The parade of the toy soldiers now. A splendid performance by boys of an army training battalion. Famous Scottish regiments provided a team of Highland dancers. Certainly this was Highland dancing in the correct setting. And now, beneath the towering castle walls, what more fitting for a finale than the Sunset Call?